So today I'm going to do kind of a review video. We have a lot of hobbies. We like to fish quite a bit, do off-road things with our off-road club. Can't call it a Jeep club because there's like a Bronco guy and somebody with a Toyota. Some of the stuff that I would like to do is talk about products that I've found that make life a little bit easier. And today the product I'm going to talk about is this guy right here. It's something called a MoonShade. And I'm going to start off by saying that I am in no way sponsored by MoonShade. I bought this with my own money. I know a lot of guys do like product reviews and they get all kinds of free stuff. And when that happens, you know, you're kind of obligated to say nice things or they don't keep sending you stuff. I bought this with my own money. And so I'm going to give my honest opinion of it, which up front is positive. Honestly, if it sucked, I probably wouldn't even bother doing a video about it. What this is, if you're not familiar with the MoonShade, it's basically an awning that you can attach to your vehicle. You can attach it to your vehicle, you can attach it to a tree. I've seen people attach them to the side of their house to put over their patio. That's the thing I really love about this, is it's amazingly versatile. In the situation today, as you probably noticed, I'm in our winter beater. And the reason for that is we're better than an hour south of our house in one of our favorite spots to fish for catfish. Basically, this is a little town in southeast Kansas. I have no idea what the population is, but it's not very much. And this is basically a small city lake. There's some good sized fish in here. We've caught some nice fish and it's nice to just come down here and relax. It's quiet. There's really nobody else around. I think we've got a couple people down the bank fishing. And it's just a really nice spot that we like. But normally it would be very expensive to drive my truck down that gets 8-10 miles to the gallon. So this is where the winter beater comes in. Now on my truck I actually have an awning. It's more outfitted for overlanding type things, and I do have a vehicle mounted awning, and that's great, but it's attached to the truck. So this is where the MoonShade comes in. I actually bought this to use on one of my trucks that doesn't have a vehicle mounted awning, and it worked extremely well the first time I used it. And when we started using the little car to come down here and we needed shade, I thought, well, we'll try out the MoonShade and see how it works on a car versus a truck. And what I found is it worked awesome, and so that's kind of why I wanted to share it and talk about it a little bit. So basically the way this thing works is, for lack of a better term, it's a tent without walls. And really, Moon markets these for the overlanding and camping people. And really what we're doing today is similar to a camping setup, I guess, but it works for other things besides just camping. And I'm sure that's quite loud. Makes some noise here. But real quick, what we've got in the bag, you have a couple of poles that hold the top of the roof. You've got a couple of upright poles, which are this one, and this one. And then you've got a cross pole. I'm not going to use the cross pole today, but I will talk about that a little bit later. Now, this is the actual MoonShade itself, and it's basically, I don't want to call it a tarp because it's clearly more than a tarp, but it's basically what it is. It's kind of like the top of a tent, and it sets up in a very similar manner. Now, the reason I like this thing, what makes it so cool, is the versatility of setup. Like I said, you can attach it to pretty much anything. There are several options. I don't have them all here. I just have the ones that come with it. But there are magnet mount options. There's suction cup options. You can tie it off with paracord, rope, whatever. Today, I'm going to use the suction cup option. And for me, this is what I found so far that has worked for pretty much everything. Now, normally, you're probably supposed to wipe your car off before you put the suction cups on. I guess I could do that. I normally don't, I'll be honest. I probably would if I was going to be camping for a whole weekend, but we're just going to be here a few hours and we're just wanting a little sunshade, and it's actually been raining here today, so it might rain on us, we'll see. So basically you just want any good flat surface that you can stick these suction cups to. And again, if you got something like a minivan that has rails on it and there's really no big surface to put the suction cups, you could use magnet mounts or something like that. And I actually have some of those coming, and you know, I might do a little, oh, got a fish on. So while she's dealing with that, we'll continue on here. So what I've got here is these suction cup mounts, and these actually come with the MoonShade. These are not something I bought extra. They have these little Velcro things, and that is if you're going to use the cross pole. And the cross pole you would use if you have like a truck that's not as wide as the shade and you can't attach these to the corners. You could, you know, Velcro it around the pole in the middle. This one on this car, it's pretty much just the right length, and we're actually going to use these, you know, eyelets, whatever you want to call these. So basically, just stick it on there, clamp it down. Same thing for the front. We'll leave that one at the moment. And there are a couple different ways you can set this up. And now I'm just going to throw out here, this is taking way longer while I'm talking about it to set up than it actually does in practice. This thing is super quick. I can actually set this up faster than I can set up the vehicle mounted awning on my truck, and that's what I really like about it. But you've got a 7-foot side and a 9-foot side, so it's not square. So depending on what, you know, vehicle you're mounting it to, you can basically, you got these carabiners on the corners that you're just going to clip to the car. And I don't even know which side I'm on. Okay, so I'm on the 9-foot side, so I'm going to flip it around actually. And this car is not that big, so we're going to use the 7-foot side on the car. Again, carabiner here on the corner, clip that on. And in this situation, we don't even need to bother with the cross pole. We just get our suction cup set, clip that on there, and that's half the job right there. Now you've basically got these 2 tent poles, and these are going to be the cross poles that give the roof its shape. Did you catch one?
Nope.
Okay, well, better luck next time. Continuing on. So that's the wife back there trying to catch fish, or AKA the camera person. So the way this thing works, you've got 2 poles, and I don't know if you can see this from this far away, but there's one of the poles kind of goes through these 2 little fabric pieces here. So I always start with that pole, and you basically just jam it up there in this little pocket in the corner, run it through the middle, and you got these little clips to hold on. And then there's another pocket in this corner, and the wife is over there catching another fish. Hopefully she's got him this time. We'll see. Maybe she says. All right, so 1 pull. That was inconvenient. All right, so jam this pole in the corner just like we did the first one. All right, she's got something splashing around over there. So if you've ever set up a tent with these little elastic poles, it's a whole lot, you know, the same kind of deal. And then you've got your 2 leg poles.
You're in the camera.
All right, we're gonna pause for just a minute to deal with this guy. He sent water just straight up my nose. That was awesome. All right, come here, little guy. Oh. Say hello. The little fish slime off my hands. All right, enough of that, back to business. So I always like to, before I set up those poles, if you can see, I got a good breeze here, and this thing, one thing about it is if there's any wind at all, you do not want to turn your back on this thing for a second. Ask me how I know. And this is one thing that I did kind of upgrade. These are the tie down ropes, and they actually come with tie-down ropes. They work just fine. They came with like these little triangle, I don't know, tensioners. And I actually went with, I think these are called roller cams or roller something. I'll put a link down below. But these things are awesome. They got these, you just roll the rope through there, tighten it up. They work extremely well. And they're not necessary, but I thought they were a good upgrade. They're a little bit more sturdy than the ones come with it. So before this thing decides to flip over the roof of the car, let's go ahead and get it set up. And all you do is just drop it in that corner. And again, there's another carabiner here. And on these poles, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little, I don't know what you call that thing, little eyelet. And you just clip that on there. And then just drop this around that top of the pole there. Set your anchor or your tent stake, just regular old aluminum tent stake. And these do come with the MoonShade. And then just crank that down a little bit and do the same for the other one. Grab our other anchor. There's little grommets right here in the corner of the shade. So you just attach the grommet, put it on the eyelet, set your pole where you want it, and then just loop that around the pole and put in your stake. And that is all there is to it. Now these legs here, I guess I can show this, loosen this up real quick. These legs actually are adjustable. So if I wanted it taller, there's this little button right here, little spring-loaded button, and you can extend these legs to whatever height you want. I found for me, I pretty much just use it on the lowest setting, and I'm short enough that I slide right underneath it. So I haven't really had to raise it up, but you do have that option. And another thing I'm gonna try, I actually ordered another set of these legs because as you can see where we're at, we have the luxury of driving right down to the waterfront. That is allowed here where we're at. This is a small city park, and you can actually, I could camp right here if we wanted to. And so it's nice, we can get our car here. But if you were in a situation where you couldn't drive down to where you wanted to fish or what activity you were doing, I decided I wanted to try and see if you could use this thing like an easy up. I mean, we have big easy ups, like 10-foot square easy up, and you know, they take up half the room in the car. This thing is so small that, you know, that's one of the great things about it. It really doesn't take up a lot of room if you're rolling in a small car like we are today. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually pretty much as soon as I set up the MoonShade, it decided that we needed like a 40-mile-an-hour wind right here. And you'll see it stays pretty stable. But one of the things I wanted to try to do, back to the point, I ordered another pair of these legs. So I wanted to see if you could use it as a four-legged, easy up style of an awning and if it would be stable. I don't know, I've never seen anybody do that. I kind of asked MoonShade, and they didn't act like that's something anybody had ever done, but didn't know that there was any reason why you couldn't. So maybe I'll be the guinea pig for that, and I'll probably come back one of these days, maybe make another video about how that works out. But that's pretty much it for a setup. If I hadn't have been talking the whole time, you know, I could have this thing set up in a couple of minutes. It probably takes me more to get everything out of the bag than it does to actually get it attached to the car and set up. And it is nice and stable. Like I said, it's 7x9, so you got, for what we're doing, you got a nice amount of shade. I've used it on you know, the back of a truck, and it worked very well. You know, camping on a truck that doesn't have a rack or anything that you can mount a normal vehicle mounted awning to, this works really great. And you can use it on, you know, even if you had a pickup truck that say didn't have a shelf, just like a regular truck, you could suction cup it to the side and have, you know, sort of a lean-to shelter. You can actually stake that right in the ground and make like a lean-to, you know, beach shelter. I think I'm getting a bite over there, but you know, it's amazingly versatile. But that's what I like about it. And you know, there's a lot of things I've bought and I've pretty much had instant buyer's remorse. And this is, I'm going to get over here because I'm getting a pretty good bite. I want to be able to see what's going on there. But I've bought a lot of products for, for camping and whatnot. And I think I got to go this way. We'll see what happens here. But, okay, as I was saying, I've bought a lot of products for camping, overlanding, whatever you want to call it, that I have had instant regret. And this is one of the few products, can't tell if he's swimming at me or if I missed him. This is one of the few products that I have had absolutely no regret in buying. And I will admit that for what it is, it seems a little expensive. I don't know exactly how much they cost. At the, I might have to look that up, and of course I'll put a link in the description. Another little guy. Come over here and say hi to the people. But I will put a link in the description, and they may have changed the pricing because I believe I read on their website the other day, I was looking, and I believe they quit including they have a couple different suction cup options that come with it. They got smaller suction cups that you could put like on the bottom fenders of the car and, put the posts in this way if you were a place where you, say hard ground and you couldn't stake it down. They also have sandbag options, different things. There are options for that. But at the time I bought this, I've had it for probably close to a year, and I'm gonna say it was at the time in the $400, $450 range. And I will say that while I'm not sponsored by MoonShade, I did not pay full price. Our off-road club, Midwest Crawlers, here out of Kansas City, MoonShade is one of the sponsors of the club, and they do give us I don't know, like a 20% discount maybe. I don't know what it is. It's super cool. So I actually, if it weren't for the discount, I don't know if I'd have gone out and bought it. But now that I've used it and I know how it works, I would buy it regardless. And it's totally worth the money. But like I said, I'll put a link in. I don't know what it really costs right now, but for what it is, it does seem like it's kind of expensive compared to a lot of the stuff you can get on Amazon. Let me put this guy away. Our little channel cat. Get him back home. Go tell all your bigger friends that there's free food. But the there's options on Amazon, and I can't think of the name of the companies that make them. Maybe Kelty, I believe, makes some different shelters. And I didn't care for any of those. I didn't like the way most of them attached. A lot of the reviews I watched, they were kind of a pain to set up, time consuming compared to this. So just the sheer versatility of this and the ease of setup makes it completely worth the money. And the fact that you can just throw it from car to car, you don't have to dedicate it to a certain vehicle. I don't need one for every vehicle. Like I said, right now we're using it on the winter beater. I could use it on my wife's van. I could use it on any of my trucks, whether it's got a rack or doesn't have a rack. The one I bought it for doesn't have a rack. It does have a camper shell on it that I just stick it to the shell, and it works great. But you can use it on literally anything. And another thing, I'm not going to take it out right now, but in this bag, again, go to Moon's website and check this thing out. But this is a Moon wall. And what the Moon wall is, it is also 7x9 footprint, just like the Shade. But it's basically, you just attach it to the tops of this, clip it there, and you have a wall. And you can, angle it out, straight down. You could probably take it straight out if you had a couple more poles. That's one thing I'm going to play with once my new poles come in. I actually want to play with setting up as an extension, and I could theoretically have about a 14x9 setup or something much larger. So I'm going to play with that. But the Moon wall adds quite a bit of versatility, and again, I don't even know what that costs. I'm going to say you're probably going to spend another $150 for the Moon wall. But it is something that I have used on more than one occasion. Pretty much every time I've had it out, I think I've used it, and it's come in really handy. But I don't know that there's a lot more to say. But I will say, if you don't have one of these or you've never looked into them, go check out Moon's website, see what they have to offer. And again, if this is something that looks like it would fit your needs, I would 100% recommend getting one of these. I've had zero regrets. Like I said, I've fish on, green pole. So I have had zero regrets on this shade. And again, you know, if it looks like something that would suit your needs, I would go out and get one. I don't know what I'm going to do with this video. I just kind of thought after last time we came out here and used it and we posted pictures, I had several people ask about it. And so I went, man, you know, I should have made a video about that. Maybe a lot of people aren't hip to the MoonShade. So that's what I decided to do today. Now that one looks a little bigger, a little bit. So again, for right now, I think I'm going to wrap it up. And, you know, one more thing I'm going to show real quick. Now this part doesn't have a lot to do with the MoonShade, but there's a couple little gadgets that I found on Amazon, like this guy here. And what I've done is I make these towels that have a carabiner in them, as you can see, kind of like this guy right here. They come in super handy, and it seems like I am always looking for a towel somewhere when I'm out camping, you know, barbecue, you know, fishing for sure, you know, catfishing. I'm constantly washing my hands and getting the slime off. I don't know if it's in the frame or not, but down here I've got a little Rotopax water jug. This is another thing I was thinking about. I had bought these for another project I needed a little round padding for. And I was thinking, you know, this would be nice to not walk into your poles in the dark at night. So I think I'm going to split these and make it to where I can wrap it around the pole so that it stands out like a sore thumb when you're walking around camp after a couple adult beverages. But I don't know, that's for another day. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. It's probably gotten pretty long-winded, so we're gonna stop there, and I gotta go take another fish off here. And as you can see, there's a lot of fish in this lake. I don't know how long this video is, but what is that, number 4? I don't know, 3. They're jumping all over the place, so I'm gonna sign out and get to catching. So till next time.